Hey Scorpio, how's it going? My name is Dre. This is your reading for August of 2017. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much again for watching all of my videos, for leaving comments. I have like a small audience, but I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that has purchased a reading from me. Um, so yeah, and also like the more I do this, the more I'm recognizing where my limits are as a tarot reader. One in that I don't use it to look at the future because I don't, you know, the future doesn't exist. So it's always hard to say things that will or won't happen. And that's just not the way I do things. I really see tarot as an in the moment sort of thing, advice that you need whenever you get it, whenever the messages are delivered, to sort of deal with your current and recognizing, where we've been in order to see where we are and where we're going. And so that's really the lesson, because in life we just go through things karmically where we have to sort of deal with the same mistakes over and over again until we're eventually released from that. So I don't use tarot to look at the future because I don't feel like that is how I don't use it for that way. I do it for how it is. And the fact that I even have these as like monthly readings when, the same lessons are sort of like flowing, because, our construct of how we organize time in days and months or whatever, it's all an illusion. Time is a circle, flat circle or whatever, but and history repeats itself always. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way before I get started. So the first card we have for you guys is the Nine of Cups, the King of Wands in reverse, the Ten of Swords in reverse, Strength in reverse, the Three of Swords, Two of Swords, Justice, the Star, and the Knight of Wands. Outcome, we have the Two of Cups. And additional card, we have the Empress in reverse. So, very interesting cards. I will say the first message I was getting is that I do feel like some of you are I feel like some of you are in the wrong about something, or somebody that you're with is in the wrong, obviously. But I don't see them as owning up to that fact. I feel like that there's something that I feel like you're trying to get a lot of information out of somebody in order for them to admit to something that they've been doing wrong, or somebody is doing that to you, where I feel like you are, again, I'm getting the sense of trying to have your cake and eat it too, where there's a part of you that some of you I feel like might be sort of indulging a little bit too much to the detriment of your relationship, or this is somebody else around you, because there is a king here. So I do feel like somebody is sort of running roughshod over your emotions right now, and it's leading you to this feeling of indecisiveness, of sort of heartbreak, of sort of this mental turmoil. And that in and of itself is a lesson, is a clue to where you should be focusing your attention right now. Because I get the sense that right now, trying to get the truth out of somebody is what's driving you the most right now, or somebody's trying to get the truth out of you. Even though I feel like it's clearly obvious what's going on, whether it's like infidelity or dishonesty or any of that sort of thing. I feel like they know. It's just, I feel like you haven't necessarily made a choice or decision yet as to what to do about that. Um, and I feel like that's going to be so important going forward to understanding where the line is with you. How much of it are you willing to tolerate? How much of somebody else's, uh, you know, nefarious actions are you willing to deal with? Because this is a time for you to come back to a place where you are comfortable, more comfortable again in making a decision for yourself and standing up for what you feel like you deserve. This could be like an old partner, an old relationship that's still like sort of you're in the final stages of it, or it's already ended and you still have to deal with the sort of chaos and the aftermath of that. I do see that you need to make a clear cut decision to either cut them off and make yourself feel better now, or otherwise you'll just keep dealing with the same old BS. Now is like an opening for you guys to recognize what matters the most to you. And I do feel like it's the friends and the family around you that truly love you and support you. And if not, you have to be willing to put that out there. Nines are all about giving. We have a lot, so we need to give a lot in order for that cycle to come to a completion. And we have the Ten of Swords, so there's still like this emotional baggage that's still going. I really feel like it's around. If they're not a fire sign, I usually don't read the suit card, I forget what they're called, but the cards that are people, like the kings and queens. I don't read them as that energy unless you show up. But I really feel like it's just somebody that's very selfish, very kind of bossy, kind of rude, demanding. And so I feel like that there's an opportunity for you now to reckon with this heartbreak, to reckon with the fact that, some pain has happened here, and figuring out what you're gonna do with that and where you're gonna go from that. You don't necessarily have to end it, but I do see that there has to be a wrong has to be righted with this justice card here. And that, if somebody's been hurting you, you need to cut it off, and you need to, find some way to make it so that you're not living in a situation where somebody is continuing to hurt you. A different part of yourself needs to be healed and it's dealing mostly with your emotions and how you communicate those feelings to others. Because right now, some of you might feel isolated. Some of you might feel trampled on. Some of you might feel incredibly hurt by this, of course, obviously. And this could be something that's been happening for a while. Where somebody's just not doing what they're supposed to do, and instead sort of going by their own rules, essentially, and not feeling ashamed about it either. But I feel like with you need to be willing to let those scars be a testament to how you plan to move forward. And it's going to be a difficult decision to make. But with Two of Swords and the Justice card upright, as well as with the Star, you have the universe working on your side. And the thing with the Nine of Cups is that it can lead us to be greedy. It can lead us to do things that, in its worst aspect, it can lead us to do things that are not to our benefit. It's a very hoarding energy. So some of you, might take pride in the fact that you're probably causing all this chaos, or that you're intentionally shielding yourself from all of the pain around you and wearing this false mask and assuming and thinking everything is better than it actually is. And that's the damage here. Because there is real hurt that somebody's giving you, or that you're returning to somebody. And it's critical that you find a way to make it so that in the end, nobody is getting hurt, either preserving yourself in that process or letting someone else go because they don't deserve the treatment you've been giving them. It's that sort of thing. And I do feel like there is some bitterness here that you're unintentionally giving to other people, or that other people are receiving from your end. But that's because you've been dealing with somebody in your midst that has not been the most trustworthy individual. And so therefore, you don't feel like anybody else deserves your trust around you. And that could have been, but now I feel like as we're heading into the second half of the zodiac signs, Virgo season is next month, or this month rather, as I'm recording this, needing to understand what actually matters and what's driving you to, one, act the way you are, and what's keeping you from actually seizing and enjoying the things in your life that you should enjoy. Because for some of you, I get the feeling that you want to be really happy, you want to celebrate and enjoy yourself, but there's situations right now that's not making that easy. And I feel like you really need to come to when I'm seeing this Two of Cups, I was thinking like love relationship. And it obviously is. I feel like for some of you, you are going through a tough time right now in your relationship. Somebody isn't being honest and somebody is taking advantage. But I'm also seeing this for some of you that have become pessimistic and have become hopeless or whatever, to really reconnect with, because the Two of Cups is healing, it's inner healing as well as, finding a soulmate or whatever. So I feel like this is more about healing the dual aspects of yourself, the pain, as well as the bit of life you have, in healing yourself in that process. Three of Swords, threes are always about communication. So communicate your hurt, your feelings. It's important. Understand that there will be people on your side. The universe is working with you with the justice, and you're doing it for your own self, your own self-worth with this star. And it won't be an easy decision to make, but it's better than making no decision, because I feel like if you're staying stagnant and if you're allowing things to build up and calcify, that will only lead for the problems to become worse. Either with you or with, especially if you're like in a relationship, some things are seriously left unsaid. And, whenever I see the Empress, that just shows me that it's not fertile ground that you guys are on. Things are dying around you, and there's only the appearance of things being okay instead of things actually being okay. So now I'm pulling cards from the Osho Zen deck. Whoa. All right, so we have projection, which is the Seven of Cups. We have sharing, which is the Queen of Wands. We have the Fool. Letting go, which is the Eight of Cups. The Source, which is the Ace of Wands. Trust, which I feel like is the Knight of Cups or the Page of Cups. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really I haven't really looked up all of the meanings of all these cards. It's more like an intuitive deck anyway. We have a receptivity, which is the Queen of Cups. So I'm getting the sense that there is a lot of confusion and around what is the next step you should take, how you should feel, because again, you are putting up these ideals in terms of who somebody, if somebody said they were some way, you expect them to live up to that. Or people are projecting that onto you, whereas they want you to live up to their ideals. But it's hard because I feel like what you have in mind of who you are is totally different. But also, what somebody else is presenting themselves as is totally wrong. It is a lie. And there's a part of you that needs to understand that the love you give, the love you're giving, the love that you're so protective over and that that you identify with on such a huge level, it's not meant for everybody. I really feel like it's meant for you and meant for your family and for people that are actually going to be there for you. So you have to be willing to express that in a way so you can gain more agency over your life, because the more you give your love and your time and your energy to people that don't really care about you, they're going to continue to just keep taking advantage of that. And, the choice you make right now, whatever choice, it has to be from a place of independence and being autonomous, of being your own person. And I feel like everybody is going to have these expectations, particularly one person in particular, that they're going to want you to sort of do what they say or, follow, all that. But you got to look out for yourself at the end of the day. You have to understand that some things, again, need to be let go, that you have your own passion, you have your own desire, you have your own life that you want to carve out for yourself and the things that you want to bring. And that's going to take a lot of emotional maturity with this Queen of Cups to really understand how to receive beneficial energy from people, because some people just drain us. There isn't that even exchange of emotion. You're always giving and they're the ones that have the right to be closed off, or the reverse, and it shouldn't work that way. And you have to trust this process. You have to trust the fact that, none of us are owed anything, ever. The fact that we're alive and breathing is good enough, essentially, in a grand scheme of things. So, you have to be willing to understand that because of the limited time we have here, you just have to trust your instincts. If somebody or some situation just seems like it's not working, and if it makes you feel like, you are worthless, or that you are wasting your time, or that, you can't seem to find a way out, you have an out. But it's like, do you want to go for it or don't you? So that's essentially up to you. So thank you so much for watching this, Scorpio, and I will see you guys next month. Bye.